Hello and welcome to another episode of Tabby Talks About Films. So today I'm obviously going to be talking about movie sequels that were better than the originals. Now for this list I'm obviously going to be talking about the classic movie sequels which are better than the originals, such as Cars 2, Madagascar 2, or even Shrek the Third. I can't believe I actually said that. Oh, now I feel sick. Let's actually get on with the real list. So how am I categorising these movies as better than the original? Now, this list is completely mine and mine only, but for them to be better than the original in my opinion, then I have to enjoy this movie more. That's a simple one, of course. I must think that the plot's better in this one. Maybe more interesting characters, new characters that we find out about and love. And the ending has to be better as well. Last but not least, this film must have a bigger impact on the franchise than the last one. If it could just be counted as a film which could be easily forgotten about, or the ending is just that everything reverses back to normal and everything is the same, then I don't count it as a better sequel. I like change, I like how stories can change and grow and manifest. So yeah, let's get into it. The classic Empire Strikes Back. Now, what makes this film better than A New Hope? Well, in my opinion, there's a lot of reasons, and not to hate on A New Hope because I actually really enjoy it. I think it's a very well thought out and good movie, and I love all the Star Wars films as well. Most. The addition of Lando in this movie and his betrayal, oh yeah, maybe I should say spoilers, but Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back is like 40 years old now, so I mean, if you haven't watched it, it's your fault. Lando's betrayal is easily one of my favourite scenes from the whole Star Wars. What is it now? Is it still, it's not a trilogy? Let's just say the whole original trilogy. And I love it so much how Lando can trick Han, and Han thinks that he's just this smug, over the top of everyone, gangster kind of guy, but no, he's tricked by Lando, someone who he thought was his friend. Well, Han, look what happened to you. And as everyone knows, the ending to this movie is much better than A New Hope in my opinion. Well, it's probably not just my opinion, but a lot of people's opinion. The I am your father and Luke's battle between Darth Vader is magnificent, and it ends the film making you want to come back for another film. Some films don't really entice you to want to have another film or to want to watch the next film because they round it off very nicely and it's done and dusted. But with this film, they make you want to go watch The Return of the Jedi. I need a hero. Shrek 2 is my hero. Now, Shrek 2, what can I say about this film which no one else has ever said? Well, nothing really. Shrek 2 is a masterpiece and everyone knows it. If anyone talks bad about it, they know what's coming to them. Well, I actually don't know, but apparently they know. From the music, to the action, to the plot, this movie is perfect. Now, obviously this is my opinion, but if you don't agree with this opinion, then who are you and what are you doing with your life? Now, like I said before, if you don't introduce a new character which completely makes the movie 10 times better, then what are you doing with your movie, really? And DreamWorks does this perfectly with the Fairy Godmother and Charming. Well, Charming up until the ending of 2. Let's just not talk about 3. Just wipe that away. I've done this many times. The Fairy Godmother completely spruces up the movie for me. She brightens everything up. Well, I wouldn't say brightens, does she? She's a bit of a downer. But she adds the new flair to the movie. She adds this quick wit, this actual fear that she might win. And she is a proper villain. I love these. They are threatening. She is threatening. Fairy Godmother does this so well, and you believe that her planning could work if you really wanted it to, and you believe that she wants this so much, and it is completely tied in with a backstory of her, and it's the king called Charles? I think, well, let's just say the king. And it's completely tied in with the king as well. Shrek in this movie is better than he was in the first movie. Well, that's my opinion at least. I believe that his self-doubt and his well, let's just say pity of himself, thinking that he's not good enough for Fiona and Fiona deserves better than him, is such a great plot in this movie, and it's done very well, with especially when Shrek takes a magic potion to look human so that Fiona may like him more, which she doesn't. This is why the ending's perfect as well. Fiona doesn't want Shrek to be human. She doesn't want to be human. She doesn't care about any of that. She just wants to love Shrek. And she turns back into a Noga as well as Shrek. She doesn't want anything else. And that's why Shrek 2 is better than Shrek. What is another movie that I 100% is better than the original? Well, that is hard. I did have many on my list. I was gonna say Far From Home, but as I do believe that in my mind it is better, someone could persuade me otherwise, but obviously they can't do that here because no one's going to do that right in my house, are they? But maybe in the comments section. I believe that Far From Home is better than Homecoming, but that's for another day. Let's actually get on to my final movie sequel that I believe is better than the original. What could it be? Toy Story 3! Yes, I, as many of you know, love Toy Story, and obviously I do think that Toy Story 1 and Toy Story 2 are great movies, but I personally believe that Toy Story 3 is something else, just magnificent. I especially like where this movie goes in places. Now, it's much different from any of the other Toy Story films, as this one isn't based in Andy's room. It's a completely new setting, and we get a complete new load of characters. Every toy at Sunnyside, Bonnie's room, and anywhere else in the location, we get tons, and some of them even become main characters, as we see in Toy Story 4 as well. Now, I love this movie, and I'm just going to be cliche and just say the ending to the movie, could have they done it better? No, I personally think this is spot on. I love it, from the trash compactor where the toys believe that Lotso is going to save them, and then they don't, and then the toys believe that they're going to die, and then they don't, and then they manage to escape thanks to the aliens. Oh, the aliens. Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head really do owe them. They saved their lives, and they must be truly grateful. The ending, the final ending, the last scene with Andy playing with the toys and giving the toys away to Bonnie is perfect. Literal perfection. And you might be saying, well, yes, this movie is great, but what about Toy Story 4? Well, personally, I don't think that Toy Story 4 is better than Toy Story 3, but I wouldn't say it's the worst one. I wouldn't say it's even bad. I really enjoy Toy Story 4. Let's get back to Toy Story 3 for a moment. Now, the beginning of this movie is really nostalgia fest as well. We see Andy playing with the toys, and then we see him growing up. And this messes with our emotions as well, because from the previous two films, we've seen Andy as a kid, and now we see him as, I think he's a 17-year-old, and wow, we see Andy has grown out of these toys, and how the toys deal with this. It's just a lovely new concept, and I enjoy it very much. So yeah, guys, if you enjoyed this video, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.